going on YouTube? And welcome back to Scents of South Jersey with me, Kellen, for another fragrance video. Today's video is going to be another installment in the series Then and Now. And if you're new to the channel, the Then and Now series involves taking a fragrance in its current formulation and comparing it to the vintage formulation and ultimately deciding if the vintage is worth purchasing based on my experiences describing the differences, or if it's just fine to stick with the current formulation. And today's fragrance in question is going to be the 1985 release from the House of Creed, and that is Green Irish Tweed. And I'm going to be comparing it to this bottle of the vintage juice that I have here. It's GIT, obviously Green Irish Tweed, and the batch here is 12J01. This was gifted to me by the great person, I should say, at JR Fragrances. Very special, very unique store. See, the thing about it, JR Fragrances, is there's no website, there's no brick and mortar store, though you can DM JR Fragrances and they can DM you back. And you could probably guess our fragrance interests are comparable. He's simply not there. Anyway, before we jump into this video, guys, if it's your first time here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you like the type of fragrance content that I create. We are on our way to 15K, and I can't thank you all enough. If you have an Instagram, check out the Scents of South Jersey Instagram page for news and updates on the channel, photos of fragrances from my collection. It's a way to contact me if you choose to do so. And of course, you're going to find out when the next video drops. Also, if you're interested in purchasing fragrances directly from my collection, check out my Mercari page. The link is in the description below. That's where I list fragrances that I've reviewed or I'm just not wearing that I'm trying to sell off to make room for new fragrances to then, of course, make new videos. And guys, I've been lazy about updating it. I have really been dragging my feet. I apologize. I promise I'll get some new things up there. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I'm looking to turn over to somebody else. So, of course, if you're interested in getting a Masudo button-down shirt, check that out, a link out as well. Excuse me, that's in the description. And of course, the Aurelius Apparel fitness shirts. Anyway, let's take a look at Green Irish Tweed from Then and Now. Okay, we're going to quickly take a look at the presentation. This is not going to be like the full review, which I already have done. So if you want a full review on Green Irish Tweed, go ahead and check it out. But I love the stuff. You know, everybody knows that. It's really good. I'm so happy that I eventually got a bottle. Beautiful box. Creed always does the good presentation. I have this current version on the hand with the watch, and this one, the vintage, on this hand too. So presentation's always great. Cap's good, sprayer's good. Get some of that in the air. Just a massive mist, perfect sprayer. But that is the presentation for the current version of Green Irish Tweed. Okay, so the notes for Green Irish Tweed. In the top, you have lemon, verbena, and iris. And then in the middle, there's just one note. It's violet leaf. And then in the base of this fragrance, you have ambergris and sandalwood. Obviously, there's a lemon verbena. I have a little bit of info about the iris that I learned from somebody that sort of explained what that smell can really remind you of. And then ambergris and sandalwood. I mean, I guess it's hard to pinpoint. This smells like something, but I'll get into that in a moment. Again, if you want to look at the original review, you can always do that too. But those are the notes for Green Irish Tweed, as listed currently, I should say. As far as the performance goes, I mean, like, I think I'm getting around 8 hours with this fragrance. I know it lasts a work day. I know that's what I've experienced. And the vintage, maybe it lasts a little bit longer. There's definitely some differences, but the performance seemed to be on par as far as I could tell. Okay, so it's time for my overall thoughts on both of these fragrances. So let's just get it out there. They both smell amazing. The opening, you know, I always like brag about the openings in Creed. I think that's where they're always at their best. It's like when you spray a Ventus for the first time, and especially this, it's got this, you know, realistic, grassy, outdoorsy smell, rolling hills, all that stuff of Ireland, you know, very green, right? And I love that. It's a realistic, you know, bright, grassy, you know, kind of wet, grassy smell. The vintage, though, and I'll spray some more in an opening. It's the same, but it's like damp foliage, and it's deeper and it's richer. It's not as bright. And I can't tell really which one I like better. When the dry down comes along, the original is classic Green Irish Tweed. Then it sort of has a little bit of a cool water hit, but the vintage then goes even deeper, and it has like a almost fuel smell to it. And I was told that that's the iris. That's what that can smell like. And I didn't know that. But I enjoy that in the vintage. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy the current version, because they're both really good. But those are really the differences. So it's more so of a richness, and there's that fuel smell that I don't really get in the current version. And that was something that jumped out at me immediately once I sprayed and had on the vintage for a few minutes. Once it dried down a little bit, I'm like, oh wow, it's almost got like a gas or fuel. And it's not off-putting. I did enjoy it, but I guess it's maybe just the increased amount of iris. I'm not really sure, but that was my take on it. Those are my thoughts. Okay, guys, so ultimately it comes down to, is the vintage worth it, or should you just stick with the original? And with Creed, I think it's an easier decision to make, and it will probably always be the same unless something absolutely blows me out of the water. Like if I got like an original Aventus batch and it just like blew my head off, that would be crazy. But Green Irish Tweed is awesome, and this is absolutely awesome. If you can find the vintage and it's a good deal and you're not spending like hundreds and hundreds, if not $1,000 on it, if it's a good, then do it for sure. It's worth it at that point. Otherwise, I just feel like it's like a bridge too far with the cost versus the quality difference ratio, because it's awesome, but so is this, and this is already not a cheap fragrance by any means too. So really, it just comes down to how bad you want it. But if you're not crazy about the differences, then just stick with the original one, or excuse me, the current one, because it's just fine. In fact, I love it, and if I wasn't gifted this one, I probably would be totally cool with this. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up my video. That is the newest installment in the Then and Now series. And today we talked about Green Irish Tweed. So please let me know in the comments section, what are your thoughts on Green Irish Tweed? Do you love it? Do you have a vintage? Do you think that that's worth it? Is it better? Or do you agree with me that the current one is just fine, but if you can get a vintage at a great deal, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, you're going to be spending too much money too. Please let me know. You know, I always appreciate everything as far as interaction goes in the comment section. Make sure to subscribe, check out the Instagram page, check out my Mercari page, and of course the links for the two clothing brands that I have in the description. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me and watching the video today, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.